You know, our bodies have these incredible silent workers, and some of the most vital are our kidneys. But here's the scary part. They can be failing for years, literally years, without sending out a single alarm bell. In this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on this silent sabotage and, more importantly, talk about what you can do about it, starting right now.
Okay, imagine this. You go for a routine checkup. You feel totally fine, maybe just a little tired, nothing crazy. Then the doctor calls and drops this bombshell on you. Your kidneys are only working at 30%. This is a real diagnosis, stage 3B chronic kidney disease, and it highlights a terrifying truth. You can lose almost 70% of your kidney function before you even have a clue that something is wrong.
So what are these silent workers even doing all day? Well, every single day, your kidneys filter about 200 liters of fluid. To put that in perspective, that's like filtering 400 of those standard water bottles you buy at the store every single day. And they're not just filtering, they're balancing your minerals, managing your fluids, and protecting you from toxins. They're amazing, and it's our job to stop sabotaging their work.
All right, let's start with the single biggest factor in your kidney health, what you're putting on your plate. The connection between your food and your kidneys is direct, it's profound, and honestly, it's the area where we have the most power. So on the left, you see the saboteurs, things like bread, pasta, and especially sugary sodas and fruit juices. They send your blood sugar on a wild roller coaster ride. Over time, all those spikes create these tiny micro-injuries to the delicate filters in your kidneys. But on the right, we've got the supporters, whole, real foods that keep your blood sugar nice and stable and give your body the nutrients it actually knows what to do with. So, what's the real villain behind those blood sugar spikes? It's a condition called insulin resistance, and make no mistake, it is the #1 cause of kidney failure. And this isn't just a diabetes problem, oh no. The damage often starts decades before anyone even whispers the word diabetes. When your body has to work overtime just pumping out insulin to deal with high blood sugar, that process alone creates inflammation that directly harms your kidneys.
So you're probably asking, how do I know if this is happening to me? Well, the great news is you can take control. First, next time you see your doctor, ask for an A1C test. You really want to see a result under 5.4%. Next, you can get a super simple glucometer and just test your blood sugar about an hour after you eat. This shows you exactly how your body is reacting to different foods, and it helps you figure out your own personal carb tolerance.
So what are you aiming for with that glucometer? An optimal healthy response keeps your blood sugar below 110 after a meal. Now, you might hear a doctor say that up to 150 is normal, but that's really just because insulin resistance has become so common. If you're consistently hitting that borderline or too high zone, that's a blinking red light that your kidneys are being put under a lot of strain.
And it's not just sugar. Think of processed foods as just creating extra chores for your kidneys. They're often loaded with things like added phosphates, which are really hard for your kidneys to clear out. And they're just packed with synthetic ingredients and preservatives. Basically, every ingredient your body doesn't recognize is just another toxin your poor kidneys have to deal with.
Okay, let's move beyond the plate, because it's not just about what you eat. There are some really common daily habits that could be chipping away at your kidney health, and you might not even realize it.
Here's one a lot of us are guilty of: reaching for an over-the-counter painkiller. But if you're frequently using NSAIDs, that's stuff like ibuprofen or naproxen, you really need to know this. These drugs can actually constrict the blood vessels, which reduces the vital blood flow going to your kidneys. And if you happen to be dehydrated at the same time, the effect is so much worse. It's literally like starving them of the oxygen and resources they need to function.
I love this analogy because it paints such a clear picture. Being chronically dehydrated is a massive stressor for your kidneys. Without enough clean water, all the waste products in your blood just get more and more concentrated. This makes your kidney's job way harder and dramatically increases the risk of forming painful kidney stones. Your body just needs that water to flush the system clean.
And then there's stress. You know, living in that constant state of fight or flight, whether it's from work, frustration, or just not getting enough sleep, it has real physical consequences. It keeps your stress hormone, cortisol, high. That, in turn, raises your blood pressure, makes insulin resistance worse, and fuels body-wide inflammation. And your kidneys are right there in the crossfire of all of it.
All right, in our final section, let's talk about getting proactive. Since the major symptoms often don't show up until it's pretty late in the game, we need to get smart about understanding the early warning signs and the key numbers you need to be watching. High blood pressure is often called the silent killer, and it is a major threat to your kidneys.
Think about it. That constant high-pressure force just damages and hardens the tiny, delicate blood vessels that do all the filtering work. And this creates a really vicious cycle. Damaged kidneys can't regulate blood pressure very well, which causes the pressure to rise even more, which then causes, you guessed it, even more kidney damage.
So what numbers should you be watching for? Well, while anything over 120 is technically considered elevated, the real, consistent, measurable damage to your kidneys really starts when your blood pressure is hanging out over 160 all the time. That is the clear danger zone. Getting that number under control is one of the most protective things you could possibly do.
Okay, let's tackle a big one. A huge myth you've probably heard, that eating a high-protein diet is bad for your kidneys. Let's clear this up once and for all.
So this whole myth comes from a simple misunderstanding. It's true that when kidneys are already damaged, they can start to leak protein into the urine. But the protein you're eating is not the cause of the damage in the first place. The protein in the urine is just a symptom of pre-existing damage. For healthy kidneys, protein is not a problem at all. The only time you need to be cautious is if you have known kidney damage. In that specific case, yes, huge amounts of lean protein can be an extra burden. The simple solution there is to focus on fatty cuts of meat and fish because they provide energy from fat alongside the protein, making them less taxing for your body to process.
So how is your kidney function actually measured? Well, the key number on your lab report is your eGFR. It stands for Estimated Glomerular Filtration Rate, but really, it's just a score for how well your kidneys are filtering. As you can see, stage 1, with a score over 90, is normal. But look closely at stage 2. Function is already mildly decreased, but here's the kicker. This is often not even flagged as a problem on standard lab reports. This is the crucial golden window to make changes, but so many people miss it. Your goal is to keep that number at 90 or above.
So, to wrap this all up, here is your 3-step kidney protection plan. It's simple. Number 1, control your plate. Ditch the processed foods and sugar to get a handle on those blood sugar spikes. Number 2, manage your habits. Stay hydrated with clean water, be really mindful of painkillers, and find ways to manage your stress. And number 3, know your numbers. Track your blood pressure and make sure you ask for your eGFR number every single year. They work for you 24/7 without a single complaint. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Looking at everything we've talked about, what is one simple, daily choice you can change starting today to give them the support they absolutely deserve?